So today's question, is there a music bubble? Hey, what's up everybody? It's Matt Steinfeld, and today I want to discuss the question that I was been thinking about, which is there a music bubble? Now, before we get into that, I probably need to define what a bubble is, and I'm using that from economic finance terms, where a bubble is where there's usually a scenario where there's a lot of money sloshing around. In this case, like in the current days, we have all the stimulus money that's coming from the government, which are given to people. And we see that a lot of assets like stocks, commodities, for example, lumber, oil, different investments. We've seen cryptocurrency and various other investment items going up in price. Now, a bubble is when there's money that's available to go into these things, and therefore the prices go up. And of course, as we've seen, at least in my lifetime, in the late 90s, 2000, 2008, we've seen a crash. Now, I'm trying to think in terms of what the symptoms or what the observable characteristics of a bubble include, and that is usually mania or over-optimism. But as it pertains to music, the presence of experts or so-called experts, people that are, I guess you could say, talking heads, talking about what one needs to do maybe to, get on or to blow up or to get Spotify streams. I'm seeing more and more of this. And it reminds me of, people who day trade or people who are gambling with money in the casino, trying to get rich quick, gurus telling people how to get rich. Here, as a quick aside, if you or I had a secret about how to make a bunch of money, maybe we had some type of hustle or something. If we had that to where we could be independently wealthy, there's no reason why that person would quit doing that in order to tell people on YouTube or Instagram or TikTok how to do it. It doesn't make any sense. And it's something that I want to talk about today because it's so important for us as independent artists to be mindful of people who are trying to take advantage of our emotions and our insecurities. And this is a big, big factor in terms of an economic bubble, but also what I'm calling a music bubble, that people see other people succeeding or what appears to be success, and it causes us to fear that we're missing out, or fear that, or we want to get in on the action too. And so these feelings of insecurities, these feelings of thinking that we're missing something or that we're inferior because we're not seeing the results that someone else is getting, it causes us to be vulnerable and to make decisions that are not good for us, that eventually will hurt us. And in terms of someone who wants to make music their whole life, it will take away from the long-term effects or the long-term, I guess you could say, ability to do it on a consistent basis. Now, the thing about a bubble is that people are willing to pay a higher price because they're afraid of missing out on the gains that they can get from an investment. So if you're willing to pay a higher price, you bid it up like in an auction. So it makes prices go higher and higher and higher. Now, when that comes to me, I'm thinking, how does that relate to me as an independent artist? Well, there's a famous quote by Aristotle, and he says, bring your desires down to your present means. Now, your desires are what you want, but bring those desires down to your present means, basically what you can afford, and then only increase those desires when your increased means allow it. So I've said this before, and I didn't know that this was actually an Aristotelian quote. I thought it was from someone else. I heard someone else say, use what you have until you can pay for what you want, which is, I think, is a little bit more, catchy. But the idea is don't overextend yourself trying to do something that you see someone else doing in order to feel like your ego is fulfilled or that you're able to accomplish what you've seen someone else do. Basically, be at the position that you're at and be patient and willing to be there and to do what's necessary for you at the time instead of trying to overextend and getting caught up with the mania. So what does that have to do with what does that have to do with day trading and gambling and gurus and people on the internet who are talking about how to get a million streams on Spotify? You've seen them. I'm sure there's people to the right in the suggestions right now that are saying how to get millions of people on Instagram and Spotify and whatnot. Now, if these people could actually do this, they wouldn't be on YouTube, right? If they could get millions of people on Spotify, they would have a music career. What are they doing then? They're marketing to you and to me. They're trying to sell a product because what the thing about marketing is that marketers try to get us to think that we're missing something, that they have something that we're missing that's going to give us what we really want. It's not the product. The product is trying to get us to where we want to go. And as artists, as independent artists especially, and especially artists that aren't getting any, recognition, it plays to the emotions. And emotions is what get gamblers and investors or traders in trouble. And I'm going to argue that it gets musicians in trouble too in this music bubble. So if it's too good to be true, it probably is. If someone's saying they can put you on in 3 to 6 months, I've seen it. I saw it yesterday. Someone said I can put anybody on in 3 to 6 months if their quality's good, if their music is good. It's like, really? The people that we know and respect, 99% of them, there's a reason why Nashville and LA, they call those, 7-year towns, 10 years towns, because there's people that have been there for years and years and years, and you got to put the work in. You got to make relationships. You have to be ready to perform. You have to be ready to do a live show. You have to be ready with your business and your business about your business has to be in line. So we have these marketers which are promoting gurus, or maybe these gurus are promoting themselves to be this answer to what we all need and want. And the thing is that I think that we're getting to a point where it's so easy to get into music, right? With Logic or Pro Tools or GarageBand or Audacity or whatever you use, Ableton. It's so easy and cheap to get one of these programs and to get started in music. And because it's so cheap to use, like DistroKid or CD Baby or TuneCore or whatever you use to get on the streaming platforms, it's so cheap that there's this influx of people that are wanting to make music. Now, the thing that's different than in investing than in music is you can't just pour money on something and it works. If it's not good quality, then people aren't going to listen to it, and if it's not generating a fan base, then music's not going to go anywhere, no matter how much money you throw at it. But the idea is that I think we're in a bubble because more and more people are saying, I want to get into music based on what they've seen on the internet. And I just want to encourage you that every bull market that turns into a bubble before the crash, right? It brings out the worst in people. It brings out the worst in the industry. It makes people greedy. It makes artists compromise maybe their morality or what they believe in order to get something that they want. And what I want to say is, in the time of a music bubble, I hope that a video like this encourages you to do what Aristotle suggests, and that is stay where you are until you're ready to move on. If you're writing music, don't feel the pressure that you have to get someone to cut your music or you have to get this particular artist on your production, or that you have to get this particular band or that particular manager or this particular tour manager or marketer on your team in order for you to make it. Look, the name of the game is patience. But everyone is talking about doing things quickly, getting things, getting milestones immediately. And that is the talk of mania. That's the talk of a bubble. That's the talk of people who are trying to sell something. And at the very, very top, the record labels, they want you to think that that's the way it works, because then you're vulnerable and they're able to get you to do whatever they want. Now, so what's the answer? Well, to get it back to Aristotle, the answer is where you are is where you should be for the time being. And let me give you just a quick example, which I want to make a video about later. But I've been recording a lot of music, putting a lot of music out. I've had the opportunity to play some shows. And I've noticed that this is a big thing for me. This is a big step for me in my music. And I have not really been able to enjoy it as much as I should, because I'm paying attention to other people and what they're doing. And what this did is I've realized that I've been focusing on what I don't have. I've been focusing on extending my desires beyond my means, if you want to put it in Aristotle's words. And what that does is cause me a lot of unhappiness. It causes me anxiety. It causes me to be fearful. It causes me to doubt what I'm doing. And there's no reason to do that. There's no reason to think that if I'm progressing. And so the important thing is to be consistent, to be progressing in the sense that, okay, is my music getting better? Am I understanding what I'm doing more clearly? Do I have a narrower vision of what I'm doing? Am I putting the time in? Those types of things. There are no shortcuts. And this is a long process. Anything that is good it's supposed to be difficult. Nothing comes easy. Hard work pays off. Now, that all said, it's an extremely hard business, and every bull market brings out the worst. A lot of people are going to fail, a lot of people aren't going to make it, and a lot of people probably shouldn't be in music. But what does that leave you? Where does that leave you in your thinking and what you're dealing with? Now, that's subjective, right? I'm not going to tell you like you can do it, you're going to make it, because you might not, I might not, and that's the risk that we take. But that's why it's so important that we know that we're doing this for what we love and care for, instead of for money or for some other fleeting thing. Bubbles bring out the worst in people. Do you think that we're in a bubble? Do you think that we're in a music bubble? Do you think that there's an oversaturation of artists that are trying to get to a certain point based on what they've seen? Maybe it's marketing, maybe it's influencers, maybe it's the music industry. I'd love to hear what you think about this in the comments. Be sure to subscribe. I really appreciate all the feedback. Let me know what you think. I'm interested in your feedback and your answers or your questions. So be in touch in the comments. And as always, thank you for watching. We'll see you again next time.